I rolled up the crushed oyster driveway in my rented Lambo, gold balloons bobbing from the wrought iron gate, thinking I was about to drop the mic on my parents' 50th anniversary, until I spotted my mom sobbing on the porch swing and my dad white-knuckling the railing like he was about to yeet himself into the Atlantic. That's when my sister's husband, Chad, sweaty, red-faced, veins popping like a CrossFit bro on leg day, jabbed a finger at my father and roared, "This is my house now, old man!" Hit the bricks. My sister cackled like a hyena on helium until I stepped out of the whip, keys dangling, and the whole dang ocean went quieter than a library at midnight. The mansion, 5 bedrooms, wraparound porch, infinity pool kissing the dunes, glistened under the Carolina sun like a postcard come to life. I'd closed on it 2 weeks ago. Cash, no contingencies. Title in mom and dad's name only. Surprise of the century, or so I thought. But the scene in front of me? Straight up Jerry Springer, Coastal Edition. Mom's mascara ran in black rivers down her cheeks. Dad's hands shook so hard his anniversary watch, Rolex I gifted him last year, clattered against the wood. My niece and nephew, ages 6 and 8, peeked from behind a potted palm like scared possums. And Chad, oh Chad, stood in the doorway wearing board shorts and a smirk, arms crossed over a belly that screamed IPAs and entitlement. My sister, Kayla, leaned against the frame, sipping a White Claw, giggling like she'd won the lottery. Told you they'd show up eventually. Too bad the locks are already changed. I killed the engine, heart doing the cha-cha with a side of fury. 10 years grinding in Silicon Valley, coding at 3 a.m., ramen for dinner, sleeping under my desk had netted me a 9-figure exit when my AI startup got scooped by Google. I'd flown first class from SFO, Uber Black from the airport, ready to hand over the deed and watch my parents ugly cry happy tears. Instead, this. I stepped onto the porch, Louis Vuitton sneakers crunching seashells. Somebody want to tell me why my parents are being evicted from a house I bought? Silence. Even the gulls shut up. Chad's smirk faltered. Kayla's White Claw paused halfway to her lips. Mom let out a hiccup sob. Dad finally found his voice, gravelly from 50 years of chain-smoking stress. "Pumpkin, we didn't want to ruin your surprise." "Ruin my surprise?" I laughed, sharp enough to cut glass. "Pretty sure y'all are the ones getting punked." I'd been plotting this for months. Mom and Dad met at Myrtle Beach in '74. Dad a lifeguard, Mom a waitress slinging hush puppies. They'd scrimped every penny for a down payment on a double wide, raised us on love and leftover lasagna. 50 years later, they still rented the same 2-bedroom in Charlotte, walls yellowed from Dad's Camels, AC that wheezed like a chain smoker. I wanted to give them the fairy tale they never had. Oceanfront, elevator, chef's kitchen bigger than their old house. I even hired a decorator, coastal chic, blues and whites, photos of us kids blown up on canvas. The realtor had texted yesterday. Closing complete. Keys overnighted. Congrats. I'd framed a deed in gold, wrapped it with a bow the size of a toddler. Flight landed at 11 a.m. I texted Kayla, my only sibling, older by 3 years, stay-at-home mom married to Chad, the used car king of Rock Hill. Me. Big surprise for mom and dad. Meet at the address I sent. Bring the kids, no spoilers. Kayla. OMG, can't wait. Liar. Chad recovered first, puffing his chest like a Walmart brand peacock. Look, hotshot, Kayla and I have been managing this property. We got here first, paid the utilities with my Amex? I pulled up the app on my phone. Sure enough, $1,200 at Total Wine, $800 at Costco, $300 at some bougie baby boutique, all charged yesterday. Real cute, Chad. Identity theft's a felony in all 50 states. Caleb rolling her eyes. Drama queen, we were just setting up for mom and dad. You're welcome. Mom finally stood, wiping her face with the hem of her world's best grandma sweatshirt. Jenna, baby, it's fine. We'll just... No. Dad cut in, voice steel. It ain't fine, Lisa. This is our anniversary, our gift. He turned to me, eyes wet but fierce. Show 'em, pumpkin. I dangled the keys. Tiffany blue fob, engraved, Home Sweet Home 50 years. Titles in mom and dad's name. Closing docs say so. Y'all want to explain why you're squatting in their house? Chad snatched for the keys. I yanked them back. Touch me and I'll have you in cuffs faster than you can say repo. Kayla's kids started crying. My niece Harper tugged her mom's shorts. Mommy, why is Aunt Jenna mad? Because Aunt Jenna is a selfish biatch who thinks money buys everything. Kayla snapped. Mom gasped. Dad's face went purple. I stepped between them, voice low. Say that again? I dare you. Kayla and I were never close. She was the golden child, chair captain, prom queen, married Chad right out of high school. I was the nerd. Glasses, braces, nose in a coding book. She got the new Jeep at 16. I got a library card. When I left for Stanford, Kayla stayed local, popped out kids, leaned hard into the blessed Instagram mom life. Chad's dealership boomed during the pandemic. Used SUVs flew off the lot. They upgraded to a McMansion, private schools, Disney annual passes. I sent money home. College fund for the kids, mortgage payments when Dad got laid off from the plant. Kayla called it guilt cash. I called it love. Last month, she'd FaceTime crying, Chad's business is tanking. Banks are calling in loans. We might lose the house. I'd wired $60K, no questions. She paid me back with radio silence. Now, this. I pushed past Chad, smelled like Axe and desperation, and stormed inside. The foyer was a shrine to Kayla's aesthetic. Faux shiplap, gather signs, a gallery wall of filtered family pics. My parents' old couch, faded floral, duct-taped arm, sat in the corner like a sad museum piece. Mom trailed behind, wringing her hands. They said they were helping, Jenna. Showed up with a U-Haul, started unpacking. Chad changed the codes on the gates. Dad's voice cracked. Told us we were guests until they got settled. Locked us out, the master. I spun, rage boiling. Where are they sleeping? Kayla sauntered in, flipping her hair. Top floor Oceanfront suite, king bed, jacuzzi tub, the works. Figured the kids needed space to run. I pulled up the Ring app, still linked to my account. Footage from last night. Chad and Kayla toasting with Dom Perignon I shipped for the anniversary. Harper jumping on the 12K sectional. My nephew finger painting the quartz counters with ketchup. I turned to my parents. Pack a bag, you're staying at the Ritz tonight. My treat. Tomorrow, we evict the squatters. Chad laughed. Good luck, we're not leaving. I smiled, sweet as iced tea. Cool, I'll have the sheriff here by noon. Trespassing is a misdemeanor, but I'm feeling generous. Here's the thing about family. They know exactly where to stick the knife. Kayla wasn't just stealing a house, she was stealing our parents' moment. 50 years of sacrifices, of Dad working double shifts, Mom sewing Halloween costumes from thrift store curtains. I built this palace to say thank you. She turned it into a power grab. I hugged Mom tight. She smelled like Jergens and the peppermint gum she'd chewed since the 80s. I'm sorry, baby. Didn't mean to ruin your gift. You didn't, I said. They did. Dad's eyes met mine, same hazel as Kayla's, but softer. Proud of you, kid. Always have been. My throat closed. I'd flown across the country to make them feel like royalty. Instead, I was watching them shrink. As we loaded Mom and Dad's overnight bags into the Lambo, my phone buzzed. Unknown number, local area code. Text. Jenna, it's the realtor. We need to talk. Urgently. There's a lien on the property. $2.4 million. Filed yesterday. Signed by your sister. I stared at the screen, pulse hammering. Kayla hadn't just squatted, she had forged a mortgage in my parents' names, and the bank was already calling.
I stood in the Ritz-Carlton lobby at 7 a.m., still in yesterday's jeans, clutching a venti cold brew like it was a life raft, while my parents hovered behind me looking like refugees from a country club apocalypse. That's when the bank president himself, tall, tan, and sweating bullets, rushed through the revolving doors with a manila folder thick enough to choke a horse and blurted, Ms. Caldwell, your sister just tried to refinance your gift for $3 million, and the FBI's on line too. The lobby smelled like eucalyptus and panic. Mom's eyes were puffy from crying all night. Dad kept rubbing his chest like he was pre-gaming a heart attack. I'd checked them into the presidential suite. Ocean view, champagne on ice, the works. But sleep? Not happening. My phone had been blowing up since the realtor's text. Realtor, 6:03 a.m. Call me. Now. Lien filed at 4:17 p.m. yesterday. Forged signatures, notaries, a strip mall joint in Rock Hill. Unknown, 6:15 a.m. Ms. Caldwell, FBI White Collar Division. We need a statement. Do not confront your sister. Kayla, 6:47 a.m. You're overreacting. It's just paperwork. Chill. Chill. Like she hadn't just tried to slap a mortgage on a house she didn't own. I speed dialed my attorney, Priya. Stanford Law, Shark and Louboutins, zero chill when it came to fraud. She picked up on the first ring. Jenna, tell me you're not at the property. Ritz lobby, parents in tow. Bank pres just rolled in like he's about to confess to murder. Stay put. I'm wheels up from Charlotte in 30. Do not sign anything. Do not talk to Kayla. And for the love of Gucci, do not let your dad near Chad. Too late for that last one. Dad was already eyeing the concierge like he was sizing up a punching bag. Mr. Langston, bank pres, golf shirt tucked into khakis, wiped his forehead with a monogrammed hanky. Miss Caldwell, your sister and brother-in-law applied for a cash-out refinance yesterday afternoon. $3 million. Claimed the property was gifted to them by your parents as an early inheritance. Forged deed, forged signatures, even a fake trust document. Mom gasped so loud a bellhop dropped a tray of mimosas. Dad went full statue, jaw clenched. I took the folder. Inside, a mortgage app with Mom's loopy cursive, except Mom's been typing since 1998 because arthritis turned her handwriting into chicken scratch. Dad's signature looked like a third grader traced it. These are faker than a $3 bill. When does the lien hit public record? Already did, Langston muttered. Title's clouded. We can't close until it's cleared. And the underwriter flagged it, said it's straight to fraud. Dad finally spoke, voice low and lethal. That girl's gotta learn action's got consequences. Priya landed at 8:45, power walking through the lobby in a pantsuit sharp enough to slice bread. She spread docs across a coffee table like a war map. Here's how they did it, she tapped a notary stamp. Kayla used your parents' old power of attorney from when Dad had surgery in 2019. Expired last year, but she photoshopped the date. Notary's a buddy of Chad's, owns a vape shop next to the dealership, probably got paid in free oil changes. I scrolled through Kayla's Instagram. Yesterday, a reel of her twirling on my porch, caption, new chapter, who dis, #beach life, #blessed. 12K likes, comments disabled. Priya slid over an affidavit. We file this with the clerk by noon. Emergency motion to void the lien. I've got a judge on speed dial. But Jenna, this is felony territory. Forgery, uttering, wire fraud, if they touched your accounts. Mom started crying again. She's my baby. How could she? Dad put an arm around her. Greed, Lisa. Plain and simple. I couldn't resist. Group chat with Kayla and Chad. Me. Real cute forging Mom and Dad's signatures. FBI wants a word. Pack your bags. Kayla. 3 dots. Gone. 3 dots. You're bluffing. We have rights.
Law up, rich girl. Possessions 9/10. Priya snatched my phone. Stop poking the bear. Let me handle comms. But the bear poked back. 5 minutes later, Kayla posted a TikTok. Chad carrying boxes into the mansion. Kids waving American flags. Caption, home sweet home. Haters gonna hate. 50K views in an hour. Shay, my college roommate turned crisis PR guru, FaceTimed from LA. Girl, you're trending. #Beach House Brawl is top 10. Delete the app or hire me. Your choice. I hired her. Overnighted retainer. Eviction Eve. By 3 p.m., we had a plan. Sheriff's notice, delivered by noon tomorrow, 24 hours to vacate. Restraining order,
Kayla and Chad barred from the property. FBI interview, scheduled for 9 a.m. at the hotel. Press release. Shay drafted a statement. Tech mogul gifts parents' dream home. Sister attempts $3 million fraud. Mom didn't want the publicity. People will think we're trash. Dad squeezed her hand. Better trash with the truth than liars in a mansion. I booked a private dining room at the hotel. Ordered steak and lobster, comfort food for the apocalypse. The kids, Harper and Liam, FaceTimed from a neighbor's house where Kayla had dumped them. Aunt Jenna, are we in trouble? Nah, sweet peas. Grown-ups being dumb. Y'all want Disney Plus in your room? They nodded. I Venmo'd the neighbor $500 for snacks and silence. That night, I tucked Mom and Dad into the suite's second bedroom. Dad pulled me into a hug that smelled like Old Spice and worry. You didn't have to do all this, Pumpkin. Yeah, I did. My voice cracked. Y'all deserved the fairy tale, not this. Mom sat on the bed, twisting her wedding ring. Kayla always wanted what you had, even when you had nothing. I remembered age 10, Kayla stealing my science fair trophy because hers was ugly. Age 16, her wearing my prom dress to homecoming after I got food poisoning. Age 25, her crying when my startup hit TechCrunch. I'd spent a decade trying to outrun her shadow. Turns out, she'd been chasing mine. 6 a.m. My phone buzzed. Ring alert. Motion at the mansion. I pulled up the feed. Kayla and Chad loading a U-Haul in the dark. My flat screen, my Sonos speakers, the $800 Dyson I'd shipped for Mom. Chad even tried to wrestle the outdoor pizza oven into the truck. It tipped, cracked, sparked. Priya was already en route with deputies. I woke my parents. Showtime. We rolled up at 7:15. Sheriff's cruiser blocked the driveway. Kayla stood in yoga pants and yesterday's mascara, screaming at a deputy. This is harassment. We have a lease. Priya handed over the court order. Actually, you have a forgery rap. Step aside. Chad tried to bolt, slipped on wet grass, face planted into a dune. Deputies cuffed him for resisting. Kayla wailed as they Mirandized her. The kids weren't even there, thank God. I walked inside. The place reeked of burnt pizza dough and desperation. My parents' anniversary banner, 50 years of love, hung crooked, smeared with ketchup handprints. Mom burst into tears. Dad wrapped her up. I took a photo. Proof for the insurance claim. As the tow truck hauled the U-Haul, impounded as evidence, my phone pinged. Email from an address I didn't recognize. Subject, your niece and nephew need you. Attachment, a video. Harper and Liam in a dingy motel room eating cereal from coffee cups. Kayla's voice off camera, tell Aunt Jenna we're homeless because of her. Then a second email, bank alert. Bank alert, $500,000 wire attempt from your trust, blocked, suspicious activity flagged. I stared at the screen. Kayla wasn't done. She'd roped the kids into her sob story and somehow gotten access to my offshore accounts.
I sat in the back of a blacked-out Suburban at 5 a.m., coffee sloshing on my Lululemon leggings, watching FBI agents swarm a Super 8 off I-95 while my niece and nephew waved from a cracked motel window like hostages in a Lifetime movie. That's when my phone lit up with a Venmo request from Kayla for $1 million with the memo, for the kids' therapy after you ruin their lives, biatch. The agents moved like a SWAT ballet. Vests, battering ram, the whole mine. Room 112, door splintered. Kayla's scream pierced the dawn like a foghorn on Red Bull. Chad tried to rabbit out the bathroom window in nothing but tidy-whities and a backwards MAGA hat. Spoiler, he didn't make it. Harper and Liam clung to a social worker, eyes wide, clutching stuffed animals I'd sent for Christmas. I bolted from the Suburban, sneakers skidding on dew-wet asphalt. I'm family, Aunt Jenna. The social worker, a no-nonsense black woman named Miss Carter, held up a hand. ID? Now. I flashed my driver's license. She nodded. Kids ask for you specifically. Said Mommy told them you'd fix it. Fix it. Fix it! Like I was a human Home Depot? Inside room 112 smelled like stale pizza and desperation. Kayla sat cuffed to a metal chair, extensions askew, fake lashes hanging like sad spider legs. Chad was face down on the carpet, an agent's knee in his back. A half-eaten box of Krispy Kremes sat on the dresser, evidence bag already tagged. Harper launched into my arms. Aunt Jenna, they said we're poor now.
Liam buried his face in my hoodie. "Daddy said you stole our beach house." I knelt, eye level. "Listen up, little nuggets. Nobody's poor, nobody's homeless. And that beach house? It's Grandma and Grandpa's. Always was." Kayla snarled, "You're brainwashing them." Agent Morales, the same Fed from the lien fiasco, rolled his eyes. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for wire fraud, identity theft, and child endangerment. Save the monologue for the judge." Child endangerment? My stomach dropped. The motel was a roach motel, literally. I spotted one scuttling under the bed, empty beer cans, a bong on the nightstand, and the kids had been here 3 days. I turned to Miss Carter. "Emergency custody. I'll sign whatever." She nodded. "We'll need a home study, but given the circumstances, approved for temporary placement." I buckled the kids into the Suburban, booster seats courtesy of Uber Black's family package. Harper clutched a glittery unicorn, Liam hugged a lightsaber. Both smelled like motel soap and fear. I blasted them all on a soundtrack, don't judge, it's a banger, and handed back juice boxes. "Y'all hungry?" Harper nodded. "Mommy said McDonald's was too expensive." I pulled through the drive-thru, ordered every Happy Meal on the menu, and added 2 large fries for Ms. Carter. She earned it. Back at the Ritz, Mom and Dad were waiting in the lobby, faces crumpling when they saw the kids. Mom scooped Harper into a hug that could have cracked ribs. Dad lifted Liam like he weighed nothing, even though the kid was pushing 50 pounds. "Grandma," Harper wailed, "Mommy said you hate us." Mom's eyes filled. "Never, baby. Never, ever." Dad's jaw tightened. "Where's your mama?" "In jail," Liam said, matter-of-factly, "with handcuffs like on Paw Patrol." Priya met us in the suite with a briefcase and a latte. "Emergency guardianship hearing at 2 p.m. Judge Owens, she owes me a favor from law school. We're golden." Shay live tweeted from the balcony. "Tech Queen rescues niece and nephew from motel hell. Hashtag Beach House Brawl finale incoming." The hearing was a blur. Kayla and Chad appeared via Zoom from county lockup. Orange jumpsuits, bedhead, zero remorse. Kayla tried the waterworks. "They're my babies." Judge Owens wasn't having it. "Ma'am, you left minors in a hazardous environment while attempting to defraud your parents of a $2.5 million asset. Custody granted to Jenna Caldwell, effective immediately. Next case." Boom! Aunt Jenna, legal guardian. We rolled up to the beach house at sunset. The sheriff had changed the locks, again, and posted a no trespass order the size of a billboard. Inside, the place was trashed, ketchup on the walls, glitter slime ground into the rugs, my 5K espresso machine missing. But the ocean, still there, waves crashing like applause. I carried the kids over the threshold. Harper gasped at the infinity pool. Liam beelined for the game room, complete with a vintage Pac-Man arcade I'd installed for Dad. Mom and Dad followed slower. Mom touched the pearl necklace I had gifted her. Dad rocked a linen shirt and the biggest grin since 1974. The kids ran wild, Harper in a mermaid tail, Liam with a lightsaber glow stick. I snapped a million pics. No filters needed. 6 months later. Kayla and Chad took a plea. Felony fraud, 5 years probation, $2.4 million restitution. They lost the dealership, the McMansion, the Disney passes. Chad got a job selling vacuums door to door. Kayla started a GoFundMe, Help a Mom Rebuild, raised $47 before it got reported. I paid the restitution up front, then sued them civilly for damages. 1. Garnished Chad's commissions. Kayla's Etsy shop now funds the kids' therapy. The mansion's officially Caldwell Cove. Mom and Dad live there full-time. Dad fishes off the dock every morning. Mom hosts book club on the porch. Wine, zero drama. Harper and Liam call me Mama Jenna. They start kindergarten in the fall, uniforms pressed, lunch boxes packed with love. I sold my Silicon Valley condo, moved into the guest house, built a tree house with a slide into the pool, work remote. My new startup is an app that connects grandparents with grandkids via AR Storytime, valued at $200 million and climbing. Kayla sends letters from a halfway house. I read them, then shred them. Some bridges you burn, some you just walk away from. Every sunset, I sit on the porch with Mom and Dad, toes in the sand, watching the kids chase waves. 51 years of marriage, stronger than ever. And the deed? Framed in the foyer right next to a new plaque. Home is where the heart is, and the title's in the right name.